Have you ever looked at a luxury car gliding past you on the street and thought to yourself, why would anyone spend that much money on a car? After all, a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla can get you to the same place just as efficiently. Both have air conditioning, Bluetooth, and can cruise at highway speeds without a problem. And yet, some people willingly spend $200,000 or more for a machine with 4 wheels and an engine. So what's really happening here? Why do people buy expensive cars when logic says a cheaper one will do the same job? The truth is, it's not just about transportation. It's about psychology, emotions, and social meaning. Let's dive into the fascinating mind game behind luxury cars. Humans have always used objects to communicate status. In ancient societies, it was gold jewelry, rare fabrics, or even the size of your land. Today, one of the most powerful modern symbols of success is the car you drive. Luxury cars act as a mobile billboard of identity. When someone pulls up in a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Ferrari, or a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, they're not just arriving, they're making a statement. That statement often says, "I've made it, I'm successful, I stand out." Psychologists call this conspicuous consumption buying, not for utility, but for the image it projects. Cars are one of the easiest ways to display wealth because they're highly visible, constantly in motion, and universally understood. But it's not only about showing others who you are. Buying and driving an expensive car sparks something much deeper inside the brain. Luxury cars activate the reward system in the mind. Just like eating your favorite food or achieving a long-term goal, owning a premium car releases dopamine. That rush of pleasure is not just from the smooth leather seats or the roar of the engine, it comes from the sense of achievement and power the car represents. Every time the driver starts the engine, they're reminded of their success, and that repetition strengthens the emotional bond with the car. This explains why people often talk about their cars with so much passion. It is not just a machine, it's an emotional experience. Here's another layer. Not everyone can own a Ferrari or a Bentley, and that exclusivity is exactly what makes these cars desirable. Luxury brands deliberately limit production numbers, creating a sense of rarity. When you see a Lamborghini Aventador, you know there aren't thousands of them flooding the streets. This scarcity plays directly into human psychology. We tend to value things more when they're harder to get. Car companies know this. That's why some models are only offered to approved buyers or loyal customers. They're not just selling you a car, they're selling you access to an exclusive club. And for many, belonging to that club is worth every penny. Humans are social creatures, and much of our behavior is shaped by comparison. Whether consciously or subconsciously, we measure ourselves against others. Luxury cars feed into this instinct. Owning a BMW might feel incredible until your neighbor parks a Porsche next to it. Suddenly, the bar has moved higher. This constant comparison fuels the desire to upgrade, to stand out, to not just fit in but rise above. Psychologists call this relative status. We don't just care about what we own, we care about how it compares to what others own. And cars are one of the most public, visible battlegrounds of relative status. Luxury car companies are masters at playing with psychology. Notice how Ferrari ads rarely talk about mileage or trunk space. Rolls-Royce doesn't brag about fuel economy. Why? Because they're not selling practicality, they're selling prestige. Luxury car marketing focuses on feelings, power, elegance, exclusivity, freedom. They sell the idea that owning their car elevates you, that it changes the way the world sees you on the way you see yourself. Think of the slogans. Mercedes-Benz says, "The best or nothing." BMW calls itself the ultimate driving machine. These aren't features, they're identities. And people buy into them because they want to feel like more than just another driver on the road. For many people, buying an expensive car isn't just about showing off, it's about rewarding themselves. After years of hard work, sacrifice, and success, a luxury car becomes a symbol of accomplishment. It's the entrepreneur who sells their company and finally buys the Aston Martin they've dreamed of since childhood. It's the doctor who worked 80-hour weeks and now drives a Porsche 911 as a reward for years of effort. Psychologists call this self-congruent reward buying, something that aligns with your sense of identity and achievement. In simple terms, it's saying, "I've earned this." There's also something primal about expensive cars. High-performance engines, sharp handling, roaring exhausts, these are designed to make drivers feel powerful. In a world where so many aspects of life feel out of our control, sitting behind the wheel of a 600-horsepower machine restores that sense of dominance. It's not just transportation, it's empowerment. This explains why sports cars often appeal to people in high-stress jobs or positions of power. The car becomes an extension of their personality, a place where they can command speed, precision, and control. Now here's the twist. Studies on happiness and luxury purchases show that while expensive cars bring excitement, the feeling often fades over time. This is called hedonic adaptation, the tendency to quickly get used to new pleasures. The brand new Bentley that once made your heart race eventually becomes just your daily driver. That doesn't mean luxury cars don't matter. It just means that the lasting happiness often comes not from the object itself, but from the meaning we attach to it. For some, that meaning is success. For others, it's childhood dreams fulfilled. And for many, it's simply the joy of driving something extraordinary. So, why does all this psychology matter? Because understanding it helps us see that cars are more than metal, rubber, and glass. They're emotional investments, identity markers, and social signals. The next time you see someone in a Lamborghini, don't just think of it as a flashy toy. Think of it as a rolling case study in human psychology. It's not just about horsepower, it's about human nature. So here's the big question. If money was no object, what car would you buy? Would you go for a supercar that screams power, or a luxury sedan that whispers sophistication? Because at the end of the day, the psychology behind expensive cars isn't just about them. It's about all of us, the stories we tell, the status we chase, and the emotions we're driven by every time we step behind the wheel.